Well, thank you, first of all, for having me, Megan, and congratulations on the show. Indeed, we have asked Gilead several times about their expectations for profit from Remdesivir, and I think the fairly consistent answer is they don't expect the same profitability that you'd expect from a traditional pharmaceutical product. On the other hand, they don't expect zero profitability either. I think at the end of the day, they are treating a catastrophic illness, and that's what we want them to do. So for a number of reasons, we think that they should be generating a profit, albeit one at a much lower level than the rest of their portfolio.
Well, Dr. Bach, after we were talking about this on Twitter this week, and you tweeted that Wall Street's expecting Gilead to extract maximum revenue exceeding treatment value. No one should be surprised by this. At a $5,000 estimated price, we don't know where they're going to price it, but that's where Jeff estimates it. Do you think that's too much?
Well, it's well above any reasonable amount you would pay for the drug based on how well it works. And like everyone, I'm thrilled that we have any therapies in this area. But the data for this drug is that it shortens the illness for a brief period. It's questionable if it prevents deaths, which is the key thing that's causing us all to be, sort of locked up in our homes. And we can really make a mistake here. It's actually not about the money. It's about sending a signal to the pharmaceutical industry that any drug, even if it doesn't work that well, can generate billions in profits. What we should have is a system where the drugs that really transform this illness, the reward should go to the companies that do that, because sort of participation trophies actually blunt the kind of risks that companies are willing to take to try and really transform this disease, change society's kind of trajectory, if they can do a modest job and not really figure out if their treatments work. And that's been their other strategy, to not really study this drug well, just let the government study it well enough to get it to this point.
Well, Jeff, I want to kind of pivot on that question about how the reward should really go to the companies that make a big difference, and to ask you kind of your thoughts on the messages being sent by vaccine developers here. J&J, for example, saying they're doing this on a nonprofit basis during this pandemic. If there is a message from the drug industry that drug development and vaccine development is expensive and risky, are they undercutting that argument by saying they're doing this as a nonprofit endeavor?
Well, certainly a number of the largest companies in the industry have suggested that they would be selling these products on a non-profit basis. That hasn't been a very consistent message, and a number of other companies, for example, Moderna, have said that we should expect them to generate a profit, and they believe that there will be a price point that generates a profit. I think it produces a very negative signal to the industry if, in responding to the largest medical event of our lifetimes, they aren't able to make a profit. After all, this is what we want the pharmaceutical industry to do. We want them to innovate and invest and come up with products that make a difference in our lives, and nothing would make more of a difference than a vaccine or a medicine for COVID. I certainly recognize Peter's point of view that this is a marginal improvement, but this is how medicine advances. It's small steps, and then you look over your shoulder and you say, wow, we've made a set of big steps over a number of years. So this is a first step, I think.
Yeah, Peter, last word to you. Do you think that the drug industry comes out of this with a better reputation or with a worse one because people will be outraged over anything they charge?
Yeah, I mean, they're in a tough position, and that, it's people will judge whatever decisions Gilead or any of these companies with successful products do. But I want to get back to Jeff's point and realize that Janssen is saying, or Johnson & Johnson, they will sell this vaccine at no profit, because these companies will get enormous benefits from producing products that help society and patients today for COVID. And that benefit comes in non-monetary forms. And so I understand shareholders want to talk only about dollars and cents, but the reasons the companies are doing this is because of all these non-monetary benefits they will get if they really step up here and show that the innovation engine they claim they have under the hood, which we see some evidence of course, but inconsistent, is actually there and thriving and can step up and really help society at this time of need.